My name is Brendan Bloomer. I am a serial entrepreneur and venture capitalist. I've been involved in everything from digital currencies to real estate. I've spent the last year being very involved in blockchain and luckily working with a very talented team that I think has the ability to really bring blockchain to mainstream enterprise. And I want to talk a little bit about that. But before we get into it, I want to mention really what I think is required. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit delayed. But what does it really require to get to mainstream? What is high performance? People, in order to really bring blockchain to enterprise, we need to get throughput. And if you look at what businesses require, everything from social media to exchange markets, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. And these blockchain networks require multiple businesses running on the same network. So they're all sharing the same pool of throughput. The reality is of where we're actually at today, the leading platforms are somewhere between 3, maybe up to 50 transactions per second. And that's basically all the companies on the platform sharing that same pool of transactions. And that's just one of the limiting factors. If you look at what we're actually paying for these networks, right? When you're looking, we're just at about $3 billion a year. If you look at the top 2 networks in terms of what we pay miners, right? And if you consider miners are the ones processing the transactions, you can divvy that up and you look at we're paying somewhere between $1 to $5 per transaction. And ultimately, we know that this is not a solution that will scale. This is not something that can really go mainstream. We need new solutions. So I want to turn it over to Dan Larimer and talk about our project EOS.
Hello, everyone. I've been in the Bitcoin ecosystem for a long time now. My first project was BitShares, where I created a decentralized exchange, and then more recently, Steam, which is decentralized social media. During that process, learned a lot about what it took to scale a blockchain. Go to the next slide here. And so EOS is the next step. We want to take Steam and BitShares and be able to put them both on one blockchain along with all the other applications out there. And we do that by allowing parallel execution of smart contracts. So this allows horizontal scalability, so you can throw as many different smart contracts, different applications on a single blockchain, have them all interoperate with each other, and not have to worry about scaling as long as you've got the network bandwidth, the computational bottleneck, the single-threaded performance that's been keeping all blockchains down is finally broken with EOS. EOS gives us the operating system, which is the common components that both Steam and BitShares share, the user account names, the permissions, authentication, database stuff. And so it provides all these things so that the applications can focus on what matters most, the business logic. And it does all this with governance, so when things go wrong, the application can be fixed. That's a very important feature of what we're providing. And that's made possible by delegated proof of stake, which is what powers everything from BitShares, Steam, and now EOS. So if your contract goes wrong, and it will, because there's only one way for a smart contract to be right and an infinite number of ways that they can fail. So plan for the case that they will fail and make sure that you have a contingency plans in place so we don't get another DAO or other catastrophe as we've seen happen. So EOS is the first blockchain operating system. It allows you to develop your applications faster. What I mean by this is Steam was conceived in January of last year. We started development in February, we released the blockchain in March, and we had a functional website in July, and we're in the top 10,000 internet websites by traffic within 3 months. There's now 15,000 active daily users on Steemit with 1,000 signups every single day, and it's the most diverse blockchain in terms of men, women, old people, young people. It's the first decentralized application that is indistinguishable from the centralized counterparts. People don't even realize they're using a blockchain because it's so fast, because accounts can be recovered when people get hacked, because social media has different requirements. And all of that is made possible by free transactions. Free transactions means you don't have to charge your customers up front. Imagine all of Amazon charging every customer who visits your website a few pennies just for viewing the page. That's the model that goes on currently in the blockchain space. we need to change it so the application developers provide the infrastructure for their users so their users can have freemium decentralized applications. They can pick and choose where they want to charge the customers so that people can get involved easily. All this is made possible by the scaling capabilities of EOS. BitShares has been publicly demonstrated to process tens of thousands of transactions on a decentralized network with 1 second confirmation times average from the time the transaction is submitted. So we're bringing that level of single-threaded performance and then scaling it. And you don't have to run everything. You can just run your applications. You don't have to run everyone else's because it's modular. So there's a lot of technology that's really baked into what we're doing here. We're building on years of experience building applications that were perfected in Steemit for making it completely transparent to the user. And now we want to bring that to everyone else to allow you to build your applications for much cheaper, much faster, and in ways that are actually usable by end users. So,
hi, Brock Pierce. Been in the space for quite a while, mostly on the investment side at Blockchain Capital. And I'd like to just first say today is like a kind of a very historical day in the world of our industry. This is the anniversary of the first commercial Bitcoin transaction, 10,000 BTC for 2 pizzas. So make sure you get some New York pizza while you're here in celebration. And wow, what a year this has been so far. Really excited to be a part of this project. I've known Brendan for more or less his entire career, and I've been very fond of sort of delegated proof of stake sort of options, having kind of followed everything at BitShares from early on. And I think that there's a huge opportunity here. Glad to have Blockchain Capital invested. Happy to be actively involved. It's been a while. I'm an entrepreneur by background. I'm used to building businesses and being more hands-on. Very excited to have the first project in this space in many years where I'm hands-on again. That's just glad to be here. This is going to be exciting stuff. I'm excited to see what's happening with the crowd sale stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with what I did recently, but we did a BCAP third fund issuing the first sort of, I think, ICO where we're selling what we agree is a security. We complied with Securities and Exchange Commission rules here in the U.S., utilizing Regulation S&D, and launched a fund, which is pretty exciting. I think that everything going on in ICOs is great. The reason this is happening is I was a founding board member of the Mastercoin Foundation. We did the first ICO in the summer of 2013, and from there, you didn't see what we've seen in the last 2 years, but. And that's because venture capital was coming into the ecosystem at faster and faster rates, in line with the number of entrepreneurs that were voting with their feet to come into the sector. But we plateaued in 2016. And so there wasn't more venture capital coming into the industry, but there was still a huge influx of talented entrepreneurs trying to build amazing things here. And so the industry did what one would expect it. If the generalist VCs didn't want to give us money, let's go to our own internal community and let's start crowdsourcing and financing this stuff ourselves. So, really excited to see what happened last year. Obviously, this stuff is a huge deal. We're doing global, offerings of either use case tokens, or I think we can also see securities, and it's going to disrupt not everything just in venture capital, but private equity, anywhere where there's illiquid assets. And so what an exciting time for all of us. Couldn't be more excited about 2017, and glad to be part of EOS.
Is there any other questions about EOS or the technology behind it?
Yeah, how's it going? I'm wondering on the technical level, how you propose to execute smart contracts in parallel. Is that on a single chain? Is it sharded?
Okay, I'm going to repeat your question. So the question is, how are we going to run smart contracts in parallel? For starters, this is on a single chain. The block producers are the schedulers of the operating system, if you will, and they make sure that every contract has its own state. It's private to itself. Everything is achieved through asynchronous communication of smart contracts, which makes sure that as long as the messages come in and out are the same, then you're not going to have any conflicts on state, no race conditions, which means that they can run in parallel or not run at all. You can only run the ones that you care about because the messages are on the blockchain, not the state.
So people will need to keep copies of the particular smart contracts they're interested in. It seems like there's this, I guess what you're proposing is like a hyper version of sharding, where you've gone to the logical conclusion where every single contract is its own blockchain.
Effectively, the smallest, yes, every account is its own blockchain, but it's all on one chain. It's all confirmed in one block. It's not many different blocks. But EOS also supports communication between EOS chains, but there's so much capacity on one chain that it's not really necessary to do that in the foreseeable future.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Go ahead, please.
Are there any comparable chains out there that accomplish what EOS is proposing before you be able to accomplish?
So the question is, are there any comparable blockchains already out there? Short answer is no, all blockchains are single-threaded at this point in time. There's attempts to do sharding. That's all theoretical in the future kind of stuff. EOS will be the first that truly does parallel. And we're not just parallelizing something with slow performance. We're making stuff like Steam and bit shares, which can process tens of thousands of transactions per second on a given thread. We're making that parallel to as many cores or even small clusters. So we really do have horizontal scalability here. And it's just an incremental improvement off of years of development on Steam and bit shares.
What's the timeline on that?
Timeline?
Yeah, what's the timeline?
Yeah, if you'd like more information about timeline or stay up to date about what's going on, visit eos.io and sign up for our mailing list, and we'll keep you posted.
Last thing, Brendan, any other announcements of other stuff we're going to be doing over the coming days you may want to inform everyone now?
We'll be having, we're sponsoring both the after parties here, but we also have another party tomorrow evening. I think that we're giving presentations on the hour, every hour, these 2 days in our room on the 4th floor. So feel free to join us and get some more FaceTime with Dan and the team, and we'll let you know everything that we're doing.
All right.